Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. Today I want to talk about Shop-vacs. Both of these Shop-vacs I found on garbage day. Unfortunately, both of these Shop-vacs don't work. I've already checked. A lot of times the motor will blow. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you the parts and where to find the good material that come out of these Shop-vacs. Okay, both of these Shop-vacs, you can see the one on the left is a lot older, and actually this is the one I'm going to take apart because unlike this one, which is a lot of plastic, okay, the motor is on the top on both of them, and they both have a really nice cord, but unlike this one has a lot of plastic, okay, so a lot of this material will actually be thrown in the garbage, okay, the only real good thing is on the top where the motor is, okay. This one, however, this is about 99% scrappable material because it is actually made of steel, whereas this body is made of plastic. Okay, so I'm going to take this one off right now. I'll take that and separate that on a different time. But this one, as you can see, it's a lot older. All right, and they all have the motor at the top and a body. Okay, this one actually, the hose, unlike the hose on the other one, is actually steel. So if I took a magnet to it, okay, it sticks. Okay, it's all steel. So this is actually, even with this little coating on it, I can throw this in my steel bin as is because the scrap yards are not very picky on steel. Okay, there's a lot of times where plastic and stuff are on that. So they will take this as is and give me a steel price. It also came with a smaller hose, okay, and this one I think was another attachment to it. Okay, I've closed it up. So this is also steel, so it's going to go in my steel bin. Okay, it has a large cord, and this obviously gets plugged into the wall. This has, you can see one of the prongs is missing. Sometimes people don't have, if they're plugging it into something, it doesn't have all three prongs, so they might pull that out. I've actually done that on a couple different appliances and it works fine. But this cord right here is $1 a pound Canadian, okay? And because it is appliance cord, okay? This is about £1.5 pounds, so this is a really nice cord. And a lot of times people, when they see Shop-vacs and vacuum cleaners on the side of the road, they will just take the cord. They won't take the time to take the motor. This is kind of just quick, easy money. Okay, but there are still a lot of goodies in Shop-vacs. There's a lot of copper in the copper motors, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So this, as I said, is about $1 a pound. There is also on the end, as I was showing you the prongs, these are brass. Some people take them off. Some people don't. I'm going to take them off, and because they are gold, the gold brass look, I'm going to take them off and put them into my brass bucket. Okay, and all I'm going to do very quickly is I'm just going to rip it off. Okay, so this is going to go into my brass bucket. Okay, there's not a lot of weight, but they do add up, and brass is worth about $1.75 a pound right now. So I just throw it in there and separate it. Okay, so there's the cord. I'm going to put some safety glasses on. This frame is steel as well. Okay, and the interesting thing about this is it actually has an outlet. It has a switch. Okay, switches, unlike the other Shop-vac that have a switch like this that goes up and down, they both have silver contacts inside. Okay, so if I break this open, there is silver. Okay, and it looks like this. You can see the discoloration underneath that silver dot. That silver dot is silver, but the discoloration shows you that this silver contact, the switch, blew at one point. Maybe too much electricity or just old or maybe water, I don't know. But that is silver. Okay, so that is found in these switches. So any type of switch that makes a click or click, there is silver. So that is something that's going to be in there. This top is actually, this is steel, but this, if I put a magnet to it, this is actually aluminum. Okay, so there is steel around it. This top is connected by screws. Okay, so there are screws around it. Okay, and there is, just like the other one, a motor inside. Okay, the motor is going to have copper in it. Okay, the underbelly, the only real waste or plastic, this is steel. I could take this carpet thing off and throw it in the trash, but I think the scrapyard will just take as is and they will do it themselves. This bag is actually the only thing that is going to be going in the garbage. The whole pail is steel. Okay, so if I put a magnet to it, this is nice to see. And actually, what you could do is you can throw a bunch of your steel inside of this and then bring it in as is. So I actually cannot do anything other than just take this in and use it as a bucket. Okay. The real goodies comes from the top. Okay, with the motor, as I said. So first thing I need to do is I need to take out the screws. So bear with me. Some people use a drill. I don't. I like to go old school. Okay, and there are a number of screws. I've already taken out a couple. Okay, so there's about 5 screws. Okay, this top does come off, and as you can see inside now, there is a motor. Okay, I'm going to just first of all cut the wires so I can get at it and show you the top here. Okay, so the switch, if I pull that switch out, which I'm going to have to do, and also the outlet here, the outlet is just connected by a piece of steel. Okay, so if I take a screwdriver and pop that up, and I break this box open, there will be some nice pieces of brass in there. There will be some, this one will definitely have a silver contact with in the switch. Okay, and I can also take out the rest of this little piece of wire just by breaking off the plastic holder here. I just take a pair of pliers and smash it. Unfortunately, I cannot take this. I can take this in actually as is, as dirty aluminum, but I'm going to make more money if I separate there's 3 bolts here or screws here. I take that off because there is a little small piece of steel here. I take out the outlet, and then once I do that, this will be actually clean aluminum. So this goes for, I think, 56 cents a pound Canadian right now. Unfortunately, the markets have gone up and down because of the virus, but this on a normal day would be about 50 to 56 cents a pound. Now the motor, I want to get to the copper inside the motor. And I actually do have another video on taking apart copper buried motors. And I'm going to do it with this one as well because it's very simple to do. Okay, there are a couple screws that I need to pull out on both sides. One. There's another one. Okay, now I can't get this out yet because there are a couple screws that are holding it in. There are 2 of these. These are actually on the motors. They connect to the motor, okay? And if you can see, this is actually clean brass, okay? And I cannot bring this in as is. It has a spring inside when I open it, okay? And I'm just actually gonna take a hammer and I'll just smash this so the brass comes out of the plastic, but the brass will go into my brass bin. Plastic will go into the garbage. Okay, and there is one on each side that holds it in. Okay, and it is connected by a small little wire of copper. Okay, so there's the other one. now I should be able to slide. Yes, I do. Okay, so this is a nice piece of steel going into my steel bin. Okay, this motor actually has a small piece of plastic that goes on it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it off with a hammer. Okay, so plastic, this is, as I said, little garbage. Okay, and the motor is actually, here is a steel cap that connects the motor, or that protects the motor. All right, and as you can see, this is a nice piece of aluminum. All right, and I'm going to right now separate the aluminum. And all I do, very simple, is I just pry it up. Okay, so this is clean aluminum. And what I'm left with is, there is a bolt. I have to take this bolt off in order to get inside here. And I need a pair of vice grips or pliers. Okay, and I'm going to go counterclockwise. Okay, so this piece is steel. This is another piece of aluminum. This is a really nice piece of aluminum as well. Okay, and it's kind of heavy actually for aluminum, but this goes inside the motor. There is a second layer here. This layer is actually going to be steel. So I'm going to do the same thing. Pry it up. Now, check if it's steel or aluminum. It is magnetized, so this is steel. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this case off. I'm just going to use another hammer and smash that off. Okay, that's steel. Here is another aluminum disc. Okay, this is a nice big piece. And I'm getting closer to the frame. There are, if I smash this, I'm going to take the bolts off the top now. And I'm hoping what happens is, if I use a hammer, it should be able to pop it out. So, wish me luck. So give me a second, I'm going to change my bolts here. This is probably holding it in, but it's amazing and all different motors, all the motors are different, okay? So some motors only have one layer of aluminum. Some, as you saw there, have two. And I mean, the motors that I've taken apart, they come off of fans, they come off of different vacuum cleaners, okay, so all shapes and sizes. Okay, so this is actually a magnet to it, cast aluminum. Okay, so cast aluminum has really gone down in price. Cast aluminum you find in barbecues and frying pans. Right now it's only about 25 cents a pound. Okay, so I would not bring it in right now, but you know, you store it up, and this is a copper bearing motor. Okay, I will not take the time to separate it because these coils are very hard to get out. So this will just go into my copper bearing motor pile. Okay, there is the piece that I really want, and it's connected by two bolts again. All right, I'm going to change back to my other ratchet set. And it's very easy to get out. Okay, it's like I said, some people use a drill. I like tinkering with the stuff. I find it very therapeutic and nice to know as a teacher how things are put together and how things work. Okay, so starting to come out now. Unfortunately, because it's stuck in there, I'm just going to take a pry bar my vise and pop it up. Okay, there it is. Okay, the lower part of this is cast aluminum as well, so I think there's bolts in here. It might come off with the hammer, I don't know. I actually think it's welded. Oh, it's starting to break. Okay, so if it doesn't break, there is a separate pile at the scrapyard for dirty cast aluminum. So this could go in there as is, and the steel obviously makes it heavier. It's lower priced than just pure cast because of the steel. But I could take it in as is, but I think, judging by the cracks in this, right there, if I kept hitting it, it might actually separate and break off the weld. So I don't want to do that right now. We'll see what happens, but I can just throw this in as is. And as you can see, the motor here has some wires. These wires, because they're not very thick, will go into my lower grade wire. And this I could take in as is as a copper bearing motor, but very simple. I'm actually going to separate the copper to maximize my profit. This copper, because it's coated, is number 2 copper. Right now it's about $1.80 a pound. Okay, and it adds up if I store it. So all I'm going to do is actually take a grinder, cut down here, and cut down here, and then I'm just going to turn it over and use science. I'm going to use the vise, a screwdriver, pop it out using leverage. So I don't even need my vise right now, but I just don't want it to hit me. So I'm going to take an angle grinder, I'm going to take a visor, now that spark was not from the copper. There isn't any metal or sparks that come off the copper. The sparks actually came off hitting the steel frame, and all that did was told me that I had gotten through it. Okay, so now all I'm just going to do is loosen it. And make sure it is separated. Okay, so I'm going to do this like that, separate it. And I'm going to use leverage, make sure it's in the vise. Okay. Make sure it's set. And sometimes, unfortunately, it is still broken in there. So I just gotta kind of separate it to make it go straight, so it will pop out nicely. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, I'm going to get my kids so they wouldn't come out here, because I don't want my kids around when I'm doing this stuff. Safety first. There we go. So, coming out. There it is. So there is one thing of steel, or copper. And as you can see, it made it a lot easier if I straighten it. And it depends on the thickness of the wire. Some wire is actually easier to get out than others. This copper wire, maybe because it's older, an older model, they've used thicker wire, which is kind of a nice thing because it just adds more weight. So again, same thing. I'm just going to put this under here. And here it comes. There it is. There we go. So, now I have number 2 copper. I still have a copper bearing motor that's going to go in my copper bearing motor. I have a couple nice pieces of aluminum have a piece of dirty cast aluminum. I have silver from the silver contact from the switches. I have a really nice cord. And I have all the steel with the hose and that. So again, amazing how much of this material can be diverted from the landfill. Okay, very little plastic, very little waste. I hope this video was informative. Please comment down below, like, subscribe, share. Next video I'm going to be putting on is how to take apart a fan. Hope you liked this video, and I will see you on the next one. Tin Man out.